Bist du alles noch Amish? Vanat will have Bish Falessa. So the reason I left the Amish is because I got in trouble for drinking a second time. The first time was a couple months after I got shunned. I had a little bit too much, and I drove my buggy through. Wasn't sure where I was going. Drove my buggy right through the clothesline at Leroy Byler's, and the driveway was kind of weird. It wasn't really my fault. It was a straight shot to the barnyard the way I took, like from the driveway, and the driveway curved around the clothesline. I didn't know. I had never been there. Well, about 8 months later, I got in trouble again for drinking, and this time they were a little upset that I had not learned from the first experience, which I had done it a few more times than that, and they just hadn't found out. But I don't drink anymore, but back in the day I used to. There was nothing better to do, you know. So anyway, they came to see me and they told me that I'm going to be kind of put on probation for a while. Probationary period. I wasn't allowed to see my girlfriend for a couple weeks, and I wasn't allowed to go to the singings, but I wasn't shunned, and it wasn't really serious enough to get shunned. I was just going to have to do like a confession, but they were going to postpone it until they could figure out and until I could prove to them that I could behave. And a couple weeks went by and they did not, it was still like that suspended sentence. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to leave, and if they're being silly anyway, this is my chance to get out and experience it. So this is what I did. And I'm like, I'm in trouble anyway. I'm not sure when the hammer's going to drop, but I'm just going to get out of here, and then I'll be in a little bit more trouble. What's the big deal? And I'll be back in a few weeks or a few months is what I thought. And a few months went by, and I was kind of looking at the 8-9 month mark, because one of my cousins had left for 8 or 9 months. Actually, two of my cousins had left for 8 or 9 months and came back around that time. So I had that in my mind, that you can leave for that long and still come back and reacclimate. And they did it. I can do it too. I can have a good old time in 8 months, The next thing I know, it's 9 months later, and I'm like, wow, it doesn't feel like any time has passed. Like, I'm not ready to go back yet. This is so much fun. I'm enjoying it. I was starting to fit in. I had my driver's license, I had a car, I had a job, a place to stay. I was feeling kind of settled, and I just didn't want to go back. And then a couple years after I left, I got saved, and that's when I realized I didn't need to go back. And I decided I'm just going to stay out here, and I'm going to enjoy my life with a little bit more freedom. The Amish way of life is not bad, but you know what? It's nice to use an electric saw at work.